Hey you, welcome back to Secrets with Maeve, the space for the conversations we usually keep to ourselves. I'm Maeve. Today we're talking about something I know so many of us struggle with in silence. Stop kissing her neck. Do this instead. 99% of girls, let's get into it. You've been kissing her all wrong, and deep down she knows it. Because the moment you touch the right place, everything changes and she won't forget you. Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you isn't something most men ever figure out. Not because it's complicated, but because they're too focused on what they want instead of understanding what she feels. And attraction, real unforgettable attraction, lives in her emotions, not just her body. Most men rush. They think a kiss is just lips meeting lips, a step in a sequence, a box to check. But to a woman, a kiss is not just physical, it's psychological. It's a signal. It tells her who you are without you saying a single word. It tells her if you're confident, if you're present, if you're dangerous in the right way, or just another forgettable moment. And here's the truth. Most men never hear. The place you kiss matters less than how and when you do it. But there is one spot, one overlooked, emotionally charged place that triggers something deep in her mind, something instinctive, something she doesn't even consciously understand. It's not her lips. It's not what movies have been teaching you. It's the space just below her ear, the side of her neck. Not aggressively, not like you're trying to impress her, but slowly, deliberately, like you understand the effect you're creating, because that area is connected to vulnerability and trust. When you kiss her there the right way, you're not just touching her skin, you're entering her emotional space. And when a woman feels that, she doesn't just react physically, her mind starts racing. Why does this feel different? Why am I suddenly more aware of him? Why do I feel pulled in? Because in that moment, you've done something rare. You've made her feel something unexpected. And that's where attraction explodes. But here's where most men ruin it. They rush into it without building tension. They go from 0 to 100, and instead of creating anticipation, they create discomfort. You have to understand a woman's attraction grows in layers. If you skip the buildup, you lose the magic. The real power is in the pause before the kiss, the eye contact, the silence that feels heavy but not awkward, the moment where she knows what's coming but isn't sure when. That uncertainty, that's where her emotions start to spike. And when you finally move in slowly, confidently, without hesitation, and your lips find that sensitive place near her neck, it hits differently. Because now it's not just a kiss. It's the release of tension you've been building. That's what makes her go crazy. Not the act itself, but the journey you took her on to get there. And here's something even deeper. When done right, she associates that feeling with you, not just the kiss, but the emotional experience. That's how you become unforgettable. That's how you stand out in a world full of men who all do the same predictable things. You're not just touching her body, you're triggering her mind. And once a woman feels that kind of connection, she starts to crave it. She starts to think about you when you're not around. She replays the moment in her head, wondering why it felt so intense. And the answer is simple. Because you understood something most men never will. You didn't just kiss her, you made her feel something she couldn't explain. She doesn't lose control because of the kiss. She loses control because of what builds up before it. And if you miss that part, you'll always wonder why she felt nothing. There's a hidden rhythm to attraction that most men never learn. They think it's about bold moves, sudden intensity, or copying what they've seen somewhere else. But a woman's emotional system doesn't respond to force. It responds to tension. Slow, rising, almost unbearable tension. And this is where everything changes. Before your lips ever get close to her skin, your presence has already started the process. The way you stand near her, The way your voice lowers just slightly when the conversation becomes more personal. The way you hold eye contact a second longer than expected, not in a creepy way, but in a way that says, I'm not afraid of this moment. That's the beginning. Because when a woman feels seen, not just looked at, her guard begins to soften. And when her guard softens, her awareness heightens. Suddenly, she notices small things. The distance between you, your breath, your energy. And without realizing it, she starts leaning into that space. But here's where most men fail. They don't notice her noticing. They rush in too early or hesitate too long. Both kill the moment. The truth is, attraction has a window, a fragile, invisible window. And if you don't step into it at the right time, it closes. You have to feel it. It's in the silence that doesn't feel empty. It's in the way she stops talking and just looks at you. It's in the subtle shift of her body turning slightly closer, like she's inviting something without saying it. That's when you move. Not aggressively, not nervously, but with calm certainty, like you've done this before. Not with other women, but with moments like this. Because confidence isn't about experience with people. It's about comfort with emotion. And when you lean in, don't aim straight for her lips like every other man she's met. That's predictable. Predictability kills emotional spikes. Instead, you slow down just before contact. You let your presence linger close enough for her to feel your breath. That alone can send a subtle wave through her body. Anticipation starts building and her mind begins to race ahead of reality. Is he going to kiss me? When? Why am I feeling this right now? That internal dialogue, that's the moment you've created. And when your lips finally touch that sensitive space near her neck, softly, intentionally, it's not just a physical sensation. It's the answer to a question her body has already been asking. That's why it hits so hard, because it's not random, it's earned. And here's something deeper most men overlook. Women don't respond to intensity alone. They respond to contrast, softness after tension, slowness after anticipation, calm confidence instead of rushed desire. That contrast is what makes the experience feel powerful. If everything you do is fast, she feels overwhelmed. If everything you do is slow, she feels bored. But when you control the rhythm, when you know when to pause, when to move, when to hold back, you create a kind of emotional pull that's almost impossible to resist. And once she feels that, she starts associating you with something rare, not just attraction, but emotional impact. That's the difference between a man she forgets and a man she replays in her mind. Because she won't remember every word you said. She won't remember every detail of the night, but she will remember how her body reacted when you got close, how her thoughts blurred, how something inside her shifted without warning. That's what stays. And once you understand this, you stop chasing reactions and start creating experiences. And experiences are what make her come back. If you think it's just about where you kiss her, you're still missing the deeper game. Because what truly drives her crazy is the feeling that she's losing control without knowing why. Attraction, real attraction, is never obvious in the moment. It's subtle. It creeps in. It builds quietly until suddenly it's all she can feel. And the men who understand this don't try to overpower her senses. They guide them. There's a psychological switch that flips inside a woman when she feels both safe and slightly uncertain at the same time. Too safe, she relaxes, but she doesn't feel excitement. Too uncertain, she pulls away because it feels risky. But when you balance both, that's where something electric happens. And that's exactly what that soft, unexpected kiss near her neck does. If you've set it up right, because in that moment, her mind is caught between comfort and curiosity. She trusts your presence, but she didn't fully predict your move. And that tiny gap between expectation and reality, that's where emotional intensity explodes. Most men try to impress women by doing more talking, more touching, more proving. But what she actually responds to is precision, doing the right thing at the right time in the right way. It's not about overwhelming her. It's about interrupting her normal emotional pattern. Think about it. She's used to predictable behavior, men who either rush in too fast or hesitate until the moment dies, men who telegraph every move before it happens, men who make everything obvious. So when you don't follow that pattern, when you stay calm, controlled, slightly mysterious, her mind starts working harder to understand you. And that effort creates attraction because people don't value what's obvious. They value what they feel but can't fully explain. That's why after a moment like this, she doesn't just move on. She thinks about it later, when she's alone, when she's replaying the night in her head, and she won't say it out loud, but she'll feel it. Why did that moment stay with me? Why did I feel something different with him? Why do I want to feel that again? And here's the truth. It wasn't just the kiss. It was the way you made her feel before, during, and after, because you didn't rush to the next step. You didn't act like you were chasing something. You stayed grounded, present, like you understood that the moment itself was enough. That calm control is rare, and rarity creates value. Another mistake most men make is thinking they need to escalate constantly to keep her interested. But attraction doesn't work like that. It's not about constant movement. It's about emotional waves. You move forward, then you pause. You create tension, then you release it. You give her a moment, then you take a step back. And in that push and pull, her emotions start to rise and fall in a way that feels addictive because now she's not just reacting to you, she's feeling with you. And that's when things shift from simple attraction to emotional connection. When you kiss her in that sensitive place, then pull back slightly, look at her, hold that silence for just a second longer than expected, you create a question in her mind. What happens next? And when a woman starts asking that question, you've already won half the game. Because now she's not just experiencing you, she's anticipating you. And anticipation is one of the most powerful emotional triggers there is. It keeps you in her thoughts. It makes your presence feel stronger even when you're not there. It turns a single moment into something that lingers. So understand this clearly. What makes her go crazy isn't a trick, a move, or a technique. It's your ability to control the emotional pace, to read the moment, and to act with quiet confidence when it matters most. That's what separates a forgettable interaction from one she can't stop thinking about what she feels in that moment. She may never fully explain to you, but she will measure you by it long after you're gone. There's a silent evaluation happening inside her every time you get close. Not logical, not verbal, emotional, instinctive. It's not about whether you said the perfect line or followed some script. It's about how your presence lands on her nervous system. Does it feel rushed or controlled? Does it feel needy or grounded? Does it feel predictable or slightly dangerous in a way that excites her? Because here's what most men never understand. Attraction isn't just about pleasure, it's about contrast. It's about breaking her emotional routine in a way that feels safe enough to explore, but intense enough to remember. And when you kiss her near that sensitive place after building the moment the right way, you're not just creating a reaction, you're creating a shift from thinking to feeling, a shift from control to surrender. But that shift only happens when she trusts the energy you bring. If your energy feels unsure, she resists. If your energy feels forced, she withdraws. But if your energy feels calm, certain, and intentional, she leans in without realizing it. That's why the way you carry yourself after the kiss matters just as much as the kiss itself. Most men ruin the moment right there. They pull back and immediately look for validation. They start talking too much. They try to read her reaction, hoping to confirm they did it right. And in doing that, they break the emotional spell they just created. Because the moment you seek approval, the dynamic shifts. Instead of being the man who created the experience, you become the man asking if he did okay. And that's where attraction fades. The truth is, after a powerful moment like that, silence is your ally. Stillness is your strength. You don't need to explain anything. You don't need to rush forward. You let the moment breathe. You let her feel it, because inside her something is processing. Her heartbeat has changed. Her thoughts have slowed down. Her awareness of you has deepened, and she's trying to understand why. That's the moment where emotional imprinting happens, not through words, but through feeling. If you stay grounded, if you hold eye contact just long enough, if you remain calm instead of reactive, you amplify everything she just experienced. Now, it's not just a kiss, it's a memory forming in real time. And here's something most men never hear. Women don't fall for actions. They fall for the way those actions made them feel about themselves. In that moment, did she feel desired but not pressured? Did she feel seen but not exposed? Did she feel a loss of control but in a way that felt safe? If the answer is yes, then you've created something rare, something she doesn't experience often. And rarity is what makes her hold on to you mentally. Because now, every interaction after that carries weight. Every message, every glance, every small moment becomes charged with the memory of how you made her feel. That's how attraction deepens. Not through constant effort, but through impact. And impact doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing things differently, from understanding that timing, presence, and emotional awareness will always outperform any scripted move or surface level technique. So when you step into moments like this, don't think like every other man. Don't chase the outcome. Control the experience. Because when you do, she won't just respond in the moment, she'll carry that feeling with her. And once that happens, you're no longer just someone she met. You become someone she feels. She won't tell you this, but the moment she feels something real, she starts comparing you to every other man she's ever experienced. And in that comparison, you either disappear or you become unforgettable. Most men never realize that attraction doesn't end after the kiss. That's just the doorway. What happens after determines whether she sees you as a moment or a memory she keeps returning to. Because once you've created that emotional spike, once she's felt that unexpected pull, you're no longer starting from zero. You're standing inside her mind, inside her curiosity, inside a feeling she didn't plan to have. And now everything you do either strengthens that feeling or slowly erases it. This is where restraint becomes power. The man who tries to chase that same intensity immediately loses it. He becomes predictable. He shows her that what just happened wasn't natural. It was forced, repeated, expected. But the man who understands emotional rhythm, he steps back slightly, not to play games, but to let the feeling expand inside her. Because emotions don't grow under pressure, they grow in space. When you don't rush, when you don't flood her with attention right after, when you allow silence, distance, and mystery to exist for a moment, something powerful happens. She starts leaning toward you without you pulling her. She starts thinking about you without you reminding her. She starts wanting more without you asking for it. And that's the shift. That's when attraction becomes investment, because now she's not just reacting to what you're doing. She's engaging with what she's feeling. And feelings that come from within always last longer than anything you try to create from the outside. But here's the part that most men aren't ready to hear. If you don't believe in your own presence, none of this works. If deep down you feel like you're not enough, if you're constantly questioning yourself, if you're looking for her reactions to validate you, she will feel that. Not consciously, but emotionally. And the moment she feels that instability, the attraction weakens. Because what she's drawn to isn't perfection. It's certainty. Certainty in how you move. Certainty in your silence. Certainty in the way you create moments without needing approval for them. That's what makes her feel safe enough to let go and excited enough to feel something deeper. So when you kiss her in that one place, understand what you're really doing. You're not trying to impress her. You're not trying to win her over. You're creating a moment where she steps out of logic and into emotion. And if you can do that consistently, not just once, but through your presence, your timing, your restraint, you become rare. And rare men are remembered. They're talked about. They're thought about late at night in quiet moments when everything else fades and only feelings remain. So here's the question you need to ask yourself, and I want you to answer this honestly in the comments. When you're with her, are you creating moments she forgets or moments she replays in her mind when you're gone? If this opened your eyes even a little, then don't keep it to yourself. Like the video, subscribe for more truths most men never hear, and share this with a friend who's still wondering why she felt nothing when he thought he did everything.